Welcome back to the Hatch Point, where we talk about leadership, legacy, and living with purpose. Today, we're going deep into healing. This one's not about health hacks. It's about why so many people are still stuck, even though they're doing everything right. Today, we have Juanique with us, and she's the owner of Provo Health.
I'm not the owner.
Was the owner of Provo Health, recently sold, and the Gutsy Academy and Gutsy Health.
Mm-hmm, yes.
So, Juanique, what led you into the world of root cause changing, and how'd you end up in healing and changing people's lives?
Oof, that's a big question. So I'm going to try and condense it. So growing up, I had a lot of health challenges, but I was really lucky because my mom was a practitioner of complementary medicine in South Africa. And she was actually, she owned a practitioner of complementary medicine is kind of like a naturopath. Mm-hmm. So you'd have doctor, naturopath, practitioner of complementary medicine over here. And so she was a very well-known practitioner of complementary medicine, and she trained students to be practitioners of complementary medicine. So I grew up with essential oils and lots of fruit and vegetables. And, my mom was like, dairy's not good for you kind of thing. And everyone thought we were crazy. This was the 90s where you didn't have the internet and research and all of these things. And so everyone just thought my mom was crazy. But I grew up with this knowing that the body is a self-regulating organism. It can heal itself when you give it the right foods. And, growing up with my mom, medicine was food and food was medicine. So that was at the base, that was at the core of my belief system, right? So anyways, I go to college and I'm in anatomy and physiology and chemistry. And I'm I should be a doctor. But I was I don't like what I'm learning here. It's not lighting up my soul. So I took a step out of college and I went to massage therapy school. I'm I can do this on the side. And I just started learning everything that I wanted to learn about the human body. I was I'm learning it here. And I was so passionate about massage therapy. And then I got to take other courses and stuff to just really expand all this knowledge that my brain had been thirsting for. And then I started going to the Nutrition Therapy Institute in Colorado to become a master nutrition practitioner. But then I got pregnant with my son, my oldest son, Tennyson. After having him, I then was diagnosed with Graves' disease. And so I know this is a long story. I was diagnosed with Graves' disease. And then the nurse practitioner at the time was okay, medication for the rest of your life. You might have to cut out your thyroid because I was so sick. I was so sick.
Just like a regular doctor?
It was a nurse practitioner. But what's crazy is I was hold on. I'm whoa. I'm this is a lot. Give me 3 months. Let me research this. I'm going to make some lifestyle changes, some supplementary changes. I think I can heal this. And she was I don't think so, but I'm going to let you try. And it was almost to prove yourself wrong, kind of. That's how she implied it. And so she's but you need to come in every month for blood work to make sure that you're not on this path towards death, because you can die from Graves' disease. Your heart will literally beat so fast that it stops. My resting heart rate was 120 beats a minute. Wow. I was sitting there talking with her and my heart is just boof, 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 going so fast. So I changed my life entirely. I read a book. I can't remember who by. I'm so bad with names, but I read this book about autoimmunity and thyroid problems, and I followed it it was Bible. And in 6 months, I got my numbers normal. And I had other doctors laugh at me. They're oh, that'll never happen. I even had doctors years later be oh, you never had Graves' disease. They're you must have been misdiagnosed. Just all of this arrogance, right? And I'm it's fine. I remember how I felt. I saw the blood work. I know how to read blood work. You can gaslight me all you want. Your opinion really doesn't matter because I know what I can and can't do. Well, anyways, a year after that I am 20 weeks pregnant, and my husband at the time, my late husband, was having like bowel problems. Like he just couldn't poop. And it was so weird. And we were like, that's weird. Eventually, after 6 months of like doing weird tests, they put him in for a colonoscopy. And at the exact same day, I'm getting my 20-week ultrasound because I'm now pregnant with my second child. Tennyson was 2.5. And, we're at the same hospital, which was the Lackland Air Force Base Hospital. Because my husband at the time, he was an Air Force psychologist and a captain. And so I go to pick up, I'm high off of this like ultrasound, and I go to pick up my husband, and we get the worst news. And they're like, I ask him like, what happened? And with your colonoscopy, did they find anything? He's like, yeah, they actually couldn't get the camera through because there's a blockage. And I was like, what kind of blockage? And he's like, not a good one. And I'm like, what could it be? And they're like, they think it's cancer. And when you hear that, like your whole world falls apart. Like you're like, what? I was 28. He was 33. Yeah. Like young with stage 4 cancer, right? I'm 20 weeks pregnant. Like our whole life was like, hey, you're going to join the Air Force and we're going to retire and we're just going to live this very like cushiony life of like security and health benefits and blah, blah, blah. And now all of a sudden it's like, you have stage 4 cancer. You have to go on medical leave. You need surgery tomorrow because the block is so big. Like you can become septic and die. Like whole world just turned upside down within like one sentence. And like, there's no way to there's no words to express like the heaviness of those moments that literally turn your world upside down. But it's unlike anything I can describe. So now we have a year's worth of like chemo and radiation and doing all these things, 4 surgeries later.
And you're pregnant right now.
I'm pregnant. Yeah. And then I have a baby while he's doing chemo and radiation. Like I'm this young wife to a cancer husband. I am carrying all the groceries. I'm carrying the child, the 2-year-old. I'm like hella pregnant, like 36 weeks pregnant.
Carrying your husband, carrying the load of, how do I get through this? I don't even want to think about what happens after this.
It was terrifying. Like I'm a child, right? I'm 28 years old, and I'm like, the heaviness of all of it on my shoulders was terrible. And like, I look back and I have so much empathy for myself because I'm like, holy cow, how did a 28-year-old get through that? And it's like, so I have to give myself so much grace when I'm like, in my nervous system dysregulation these days, because it's like, you've been through so much, and I've had to do so much emotional healing around that, where I've like literally gone back and just watched myself in those days. And I've had to like emotionally give a younger version of myself everything that she needed, because she was so alone and she was so lost and she was so scared and isolated, because here is your 33-year-old husband that has cancer and the caretaker doesn't exist, right? Because he, like, everyone's taking care of him and focusing on him, myself included. Like my children went on the back burner for years, and I lost these like precious years of like being a mom to my young children because I had a different baby and it was a cancer baby, right? Like it was literally, this is what we were taking care of. So anyways, I have Satori. Tristan's now done with like 40 rounds of radiation, 6 rounds of chemo, 4 surgeries. And we walk into like the hospital to like do this other report of findings. He now had another scan, and it's like the cancer spread, it's stage 4, you don't have a lot of time. And it like that, I think that moment, that day was like the hardest, right? Because that's when it's like we've fought and we've lost. And there's so much heaviness around that. Like you kind of go into like a spiral. And that was the first time I actually started to feel sorry for myself. And I felt so powerless and so sad and so lonely, because there's no one that I knew in my circles that has ever experienced so much heaviness as I had. And so it's not like, hey, can we commiserate over so much loss? There was no one. It was me, myself, and I couldn't share that with Tristan, right? Because he's the one that's actually losing his life. So you just like bottle it all in and you feel sorry for yourself. So I told you this is a long story, and I'm sorry.
No, it's beautiful.
But
like
it leads up to the clinic.
Yeah. Well, and actually, please share. I have questions.
Yeah.
But you continue.
I'm almost done but this is like the buildup, right?
For
Like
sure.
how did I get into this? This is how. So anyways, there was like literally 48 hours of just, you're disconnected, like you're in the world, but not of it. And you're feeling sorry for yourself. And it's just, you feel dazed. As like, how is this life? Like, how is this my existence? Like, this is so awful. And I have no way to express it and no one to express it with, because no one could ever understand this. And so after the 48 hours, a friend of ours brings by a meal. She's like, hey, can I bring you a meal? And she's like, it's this organic meal with organic chicken and organic vegetables. And she's like, there's no sugar, there's no preserve. Like, she's like, this meal is so clean. And I could hear her language, right? Like, I could tell, I'm like, oh, you're a foodie, you're healthy, you're crunchy. Like, I'm like, I'm picking up what you're putting down with what you're saying. And she sat me down and she's like, all of this is healthy. It can help nourish his body and build him back up and, help his immune system. And she's like, I want to tell you something. I ran into someone who had stage 4 breast cancer at the health food store, and she took high doses of turmeric and it helped get her cancer gone. And she's alive today. And she started sharing like all of this research with like turmeric and like all these other herbs and, resveratrol and, I can't remember the ones exactly, but I can't tell you what happened in that conversation, but something turned on. And it's funny because I was talking to Jean about this and she's like, that's when Gutsy Mom came alive. Mm-hmm. And I was like, the old version of me had died, the one that felt so helpless and so alone. And like, this is my life. And I'm just going to succumb to these circumstances and just die along with my husband. But that didn't happen. Like, something turned on and the researcher in me came alive, and like something came through me like a phoenix. And I was like, I went into this like vortex of research, and I was like, we're going to save Tristan. Like, we're going to do it. And for weeks, I just researched, and friends would ask me to like hang out with them. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm onto something. Like, and I'm like digging through papers and like cancer, like talks at different like expos in different countries. And like, I had to have them translated because they were in German. And so, and I just like, and I remember one day just texting Tristan. I'm like, Tristan, I think we need to buy a hyperbaric chamber, but not like the soft shell ones, like the hard shell ones, because there's something about the atmospheres. You have to go higher in atmosphere to help fight off cancer. And you can't just do like 10, you need to do like 80 of these sessions. And I'm like, if we go to Mexico, it's going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Let's just spend that money and buy the machine and share it with everyone around us that we love that are also going through this. And then he started researching like ozone, and he finds this ozone sauna called the Hocket. And he's like, I think we need to buy this too. And I'm like, great. Like, where do we put it? Let's move back to Utah and put it in my mom's little health food store. And, we'll, I know, like this little hole in the wall. And we're like, okay, we have a hyperbaric chamber. We have the ozone sauna. Great. Let's move back to Utah. We'll have them delivered. So we had to like pull out walls and stuff to have these like massive machines like shipped into this tiny little hole in the wall. And we're like, great, let's do talks online. Like, let's talk to all of the people that we know that have cancer friends and just say, come and do these treatments. Here's the research that we've seen. Come and get it at like cost, right? Like it was like so cheap, like $100 per treatment. Like, that's unheard of. That's literally our cost. And we're like, it wasn't about making a business. It was about helping people. And so then we start getting into blood work and hair analysis. I was the one that found the hair analysis. I was like, oh, I found this hair analysis. Like, let's try it out. And I was like floored at what I was like seeing, all this data, which you now do in your clinic. And apparently they were like going out of business, and I kind of put them back into business because so many people then started following me online. They're like, what's this hair analysis? We want to do it. And now like thousands of people are doing hair analysis reports and then we started doing blood work. And it's like, oh, we can get this like full panel and has all this data, and we can start consulting people and helping them like bring their markers down and doing treatments. And one thing just kind of led to another. And I remember thinking, there's so much information I'm learning. I wish I could just download it like the Matrix, like just download it into people's brains, because if they can understand why they're doing these things, they'll stick to it and they'll keep doing it to help themselves and empower themselves because they feel so unempowered. So we started a podcast and we were like, it was like a top 50 podcast for years. Like, I think it even beat like Ben Greenfield's for a few
Wow.
years. Like we were ahead of him and like really well-known podcasters. It was more popular than that for a really long time. Like we were top 10 for a while.
Why do you think that was?
Because there was nothing like it. It was all of these like, I think people were podcasting from ego and we were podcasting from self-empowerment.
From like, that's what I hear you. Like it was, let me talk to you about where I'm at in my heart and what I'm dealing with. And I'm doing it with all of these people. And like, there's like an addictive flavor to that because it's so real. Right.
And it was kind of like a, hey, let's pull the blinds off of your eyes and let's talk about self-advocacy. I'm pretty sure I'm the one that put self-advocacy on the map for people to be self-healers. And now everyone was talking about self-advocacy this, self-healer this. And like, I was the originator of those words in people's subconscious thinking, right? And so I think it was just so new. Like there was no one, like I wasn't a doctor. We weren't doctors. We were just everyday people that were so desperate and empowered ourselves. And it's like, if I can do this, you can do this. But when a doctor comes on a podcast, it's like, well, I've been to school and I've done this and I've done that. And like, look at all my degrees and here's my ego. And like, we were doing this from zero ego. It was literally.
And no chat GPT.
It was literally from our brains, from like research that we had read, from the experiences that we were learning in the clinic. And we're like, here's the information. Take it, heal yourself, like do better for you. You deserve better. Like you don't have to just pay thousands of dollars to doctors and do exactly what they tell you to, because here's the thing that we've learned about doctors. They're guessing too, and so when people are like, whoa, really? I can be the driver. I can be in the driver's seat of my healing journey. Yeah, you can 100%. And so it was a clinic made by the people for the people. Right. And so my husband was a patient of this clinic. And so we built it around patient experience and helping people. And, and so unfortunately there's so many things that happen in the interim, that would require 2 podcasts. But like, unfortunately, my husband did die. There were some things that happened. And, our clinic got shut down for a little bit by Doppel because we weren't doctors. And so we were in a lawsuit that cost like $30,000 to open up our chambers again. But during that time, no one could use the chambers. So my husband stopped using the chamber. And I think then we lost some patients that we were seeing, like a 12-year-old. She was doing so good. She had brain cancer. She was crushing. And then Doppel shut us down. And within like 2 months, she died. Like, I think she like lost hope because she was like, this is working. I'm feeling good. Everything's looking good. And all of a sudden it's like, sorry, we can't give you access to this anymore. And I think there's so much emotion when it comes to cancer. And I think she just died, and I think that broke Tristan's heart. And like, then a year later, his cancer came back and then he died like a few years later. But, they told him he had a couple of years and he lived for almost 5, so everything we did helped prolong his life, and he had quality life. Like we had him for a few more good years and he helped us build this beautiful company that has helped thousands of people, and this platform of education that's helped thousands upon thousands of people. And so he was kind of like the spark, to all of it. And so that's how I got into this world. Like that's the story. It's not as simple as like, well, I liked food and so I went to a school. It's like I went to the school of hard knocks and that's how I got into it.
Yeah. It feels like it's hard to find anyone who's made a stamp with their name on something they're building that like impacts the world on a grand scale without serious depth.
Yeah.
Like it almost is a requirement for there to be a reason to try and share that big. Because what I heard too is so like you're fighting to figure it out, and then you're like so unempowered, and you become empowered with the journey.
Right.
And what I believe is the only way we can heal is self-empowerment. Yeah. Like, in fact, you could do all the things, and in essence, it can't even unstick. Yeah. You could go to the hyperbaric, do all the things, but if you're up here just like not leaning into what it is, and like, let's say someone else is covering the bill and you're just like, I'm not really into this. Right. I don't foresee it working.
Yeah.
And so then you go and tell everyone, this is how you do it. And they're watching you do it. And so you convince them without convincing them through being you. And so there's like
there's like mirroring there. Like we're mirroring for them, like, hey, you can do this.
Like the knowledge has been, it's the right word I would use is that there was a sacred journey of creation.
Totally. And, something that you were saying there of like, if like you have to do it from here, right? Well, the one thing that I missed along the way, if I could go back and redo all of it, people ask, why do you think Tristan died? And I'm like, so many reasons. But the biggest one was we should have healed his heart and his mind first, because, all the science was sound. Everything we were doing was sound, but he didn't feel worthy of being saved. And that's what it came down to in the end. And so it's interesting because my platform went from being very sciencey, like here's the science, to very soul meets science of like, actually you need to heal your mindset. Like you need to heal what's happening here and here before any of the chemistry throughout your body can change, right? Like you can do all the right things, but you will always sabotage it if you don't believe that you're worthy of it. If you don't believe you're worthy of healing, if you don't believe you're worthy of love. And so, yeah, I have a clinic that enforces all the science. Hyperbaric works, like ozone IVs work, like nutrition works. But if you don't get yourself into the mindset of worthiness and self-love, your brain will always send out chemistry throughout your body to sabotage anything that you're trying to heal. And so I wish I could go back and start from the beginning with mindset with him and like helping him unravel the years worth of like self-loathing. And like, he truly didn't believe that he deserved to live, and that's what it came to. And so he said something beautiful. He did like a video for my kids and like just telling them about the story. And he's like, Mommy believed that she could save Dad so much that I almost believed it too. Oh. Yeah. Like, yeah, and like, I almost believed it too. And so it didn't matter what I did. And it didn't matter how many machines I brought and wherever we went to get the best therapies, we should have healed his heart and his mindset, and so now that's what I'm passionate about is I'm like, yeah, the science is easy. Just do it and it works. The hard part is, the hard part is healing your heart and your soul, and so I think towards the end of his life, he finally got there. He actually worked, I don't know if you've had Britt Lefko on the podcast, you should have her, but I hired Britt to work with him. And like, she, like one of her first sessions with him was, why do you feel like cancer is here to punish you? It's like, why, like it was a really hard conversation, but holy cow, I saw him open up. Like he went from like being like hunched over like this, like wouldn't look at anyone, like so sick on the doors, like death's door, to after Britt was done, he was up. He was talking to people. He was alive. And it was because of like a really hard conversation that no one was qualified to have with him but her, and like he started to process stuff about himself towards the end of his life that I'm so grateful that he had, and I wish we'd started there. And so I truly believe that the reason why we don't heal is because we are keeping ourselves back. So it doesn't matter if you go to the best clinic in the world, like Provo Health, if you're not here, okay, if you're not in the right mindset and the right mind frame, and you don't think you're worthy, and a lot of people don't realize that their beliefs are running off of like old belief patterns that were formed when they were like 6 or 7, and now we're adults, and there are ways to update those belief systems, but people don't even realize they exist. And so my mission is to help people recognize that and help them retrain their minds and their hearts and their souls so that their bodies can come back into alignment.
Yeah, it's almost like our body needs us to be real with it and not to be the fake friend.
Right.
And like be all in on whatever is.
Right.
Because then when we take it for what it is, then it's tangible. And then like honestly, this feels like why the reason us and this experience of life, we get the opportunity to have illness.
Yeah.
It's an interesting way to phrase that.
I 100% believe it.
We get the opportunity to have the illness to meet ourselves on such a deep level. I can't think of anything in my life that hasn't been more hard to handle than health issues.
Or transformative.
Yeah.
Right? Like, who were you before illness, and now who are you afterwards?
Like, I remember, like, I don't have the same journey as your late husband, but I remember when you used to talk about like the hunching down and like you don't look people in the eyes. I remember having friends that I'd known for 10, 15 years. I didn't want to see them.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want them to see me
like
this.
Yeah. It's like the dark night of the soul. Like when you become ill,
you shed all the BS masks that we said were us, and you get to meet yourself.
Yeah.
And I think the sooner we get to lean into the gratitude of the learning, it's what we're talking about already. It's the unlocking piece.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, whatever happens from this, okay.
Yeah.
But I'm aiming here and I love you.
Yeah.
And because that was, for me, it was like, it felt like there was no way out. I was doing all the things. Yeah. And until my mind like gave me a hug and hugged my heart and did it together, I just was like sick and just like dying and like, I can't even, there's so much beauty and so much depth and so much like, I don't know, a little bit of sad, but I don't think that's the word, but like hitting the soul of like how we're all so connected when I hear your story. And it's interesting to use all those different words when talking about your story because it's not mine.
But it's relatable in some way.
It's so, and it's so powerful because not everyone has to get cancer.
Right. 100%.
But you have your own autoimmune version of shit's broken and are we ever getting out of this?
Right. But here's the thing, like illness is a gift. And I've learned that through watching Tristan, right? Because, and then I'll talk a little bit about, because I got really ill after he died, as you know, as I was like driving here, I'm like, hey, I'm getting dizzy. But like, he was so walled off and like so riddled with self-loathing that illness was the only thing that broke him open to feel his true self. Like nothing else could have done that other than cancer. Like nothing else is as devastating that brings you to your knees and makes you look at your own, your own soul, right? Than cancer. Like cancer is the biggest catalyst if you step up to the plate and facing cancer and facing your own humanity and whatnot, like there's no other way to do it. I mean, there is, but cancer's the biggest catalyst of all. Like, let's be honest, like you hear the big C and there's no turning back. There's only there's life before the big C and there's life after the big C. And you can lean into the call that it has for you of like, hey, let's do some soul searching now because your time is limited and this is a wake-up call. You can answer that wake-up call, or you can just give in and die, right? I see a lot of people in the cancer world waking up to the call, being transformed, and whether they live or die, they're completely reborn, you know? So I really do think that illness, what I personally believe is illness is a call back to your true self. Because I think we come into this world as young kids, we're fresh, we're like these beautiful souls, and we just get things thrown on us, belief patterns just thrown into us, other people's perceptions of us thrown onto us, and then we adopt those perceptions of ourselves that aren't real, right? And so the older we get, the more misaligned with our true self we become. And so the body is the most, if you think about it, the human body is the most intelligent specimen on the face of the planet. Just think about this. When a woman falls pregnant, is she thinking, okay, cells, divide, do this, make it an entire new human? Or does the body just take care of it with its own divine wisdom and knowledge, right? And blueprint. Like, the body is freaking smart. Like, you don't get a flu virus and you're like, okay, immune cells, white, like T cells and killer T, like go and after this virus and do, like, you're so unconscious to that. It's the body's innate intelligence. It's like, yeah, we're going to take care of this and we're going to do all of these things and we're going to get rid of this flu and we're going to get rid of this inflammation and we're going to grow this completely new human being that has its own personality and its own soul. Like, that's the divine intelligence of this meat suit. And the thing is, when you can, like, what I've learned about health and wellness and illness, the more I learn about it, the more I realize the intelligence of the human body. Like there must be a creator that is all knowing, because how do you get so much wisdom and intelligence in this? And so we now, as consciousness, let me know if I lose you. Let me know if I lose you. But now we as consciousness, like, get placed into this gift, like this meat suit gift, to have all of these experiences, love, joy, creation, our true one, like our true self. Like, we get to express ourselves in this world with this divine and divinely intelligent meat suit, right? We get to create. Like, we are creators. That's literally what this body does. It creates for you. Like, it's an extension of God. So you are like this tiny vessel of godliness running around. But then guess what? You're born and humans put these human ideas on you. And so you deviate further and further from your true self, right? And then you start to like self-loathe and think you're unworthy, and then like hate yourself and hate the world, and you're negative, and because someone put that on you. It's not who you are. Someone gave that to you. And so you're deviating further and further and further from divinity. And the human body like swings you back in with illness. And it's like, you are way too far gone from who you are. I need you to stop. I need you to be still, and I need you to know that you are better than this. Because we go about being human, right? Like, stress, like, here's my story. So after Tristan died, stress through the wazoo, traumatized beyond belief. You know what I mean? And then I get long COVID and I get really, really ill. And before I got long COVID, I literally had thoughts of, I am so stressed, I'm probably going to kill myself by the time I'm 40. Oh, well. Because I didn't know how to heal. I didn't know how to fix those parts of me that were so far gone. I just thought I was so far gone. I was unhealable. This is just how it's going to be. So my husband dies, and it's almost like my body's like, now it's your turn. It's your turn to heal all of this shit, to heal everything. But I need you to be really still, because you are like a caged dog yapping all the time. And you can't, like, I need stillness from you. So I'm going to make you so ill that all you can do is rest. And so I became so ill, and I was so sick, and I was so dysregulated. And I now was on my own healing path, because I teach the things. I'm Gutsy Mom, right? I'm like, you are a self-healing, you're a self-healing vessel and your body can heal itself. And I'm like, oh shit, I now have to practice what I preach. So I just started doing all the things, right? Like I was probably one of the sickest people you've ever come across. I was so ill and it was so bad. Like there were days where I'm like, I don't know if I want to live anymore. Like I feel so sick in this body and I'm so uncomfortable. I don't know if I want to be here in this existence because this body is so uncomfortable. And so I'm wrestling with this body that's making me ill and that's feeling foreign. And it's just like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. Right. And I just had so many people in my life that just were like, you can do this. You can, like, you're Gutsy Mom, like figure this shit out, And so I did. So I was like, I had to become still and I had to just know and trust that my body had this. And I was like, okay, what do we need to do? You need to guide me. What is the next step? What is the next thing? What is the next thing? Okay, we're going to do this and this and this. And so I was using like my body to guide me versus my crazy mind. I had to be wrestled into this place. And it's interesting because I remember Gina, you've had her on your podcast. She said to me, Juanique, you're going to be so proud of the person that you're going to become on the other side of this. You will barely recognize her.
100%.
And she was entirely true. Like she was entirely correct.
Your body before it got sick, the magical coding that it just knows what you need was like, hey, right now would not be the time for us to do that yet. Right. So we're gonna hang out. Yeah. And you're good. And then like, and now you need this. Right. And you're like, what? Yeah. And I agree so much. I would even venture to say it's the connection of the soul in the body that turns on the godly blueprint that talks to source. Totally. And all the computer processing chips work the way they should. And it's so potent. You can even dilute this body, damage it, distort it, cloud it, fill it with shit where it's like barely even coherent. And the soul's like, oh no, you didn't. Right. Watch this. Right. And it's like, I love you so much that I'm going to give you everything you desire and want. Right. Which is to be you. Right. I'm going to bring you to your knees. Yeah. Like I love you so much that I'm going to bring you to your knees so that you can figure out what it really takes to be truly whole, right? I'm going to bring you to your knees so that you can learn how to unconditionally love yourself at your worst so that you can come to your best again. Like if you're in that moment, what if you just looked at this idea of like, you have arrived at your, like you've been chosen. You are such a grand being. Yeah. That this is here for you to remember. And it's not because we're bad and wrong. It's not because we did something wrong. It's not because like, oh, I'm doing all the wrong things and you got to remind me. No, it's like you're on this journey, on this place. And you're welcome for teaching you and letting you go through these things. So, because then on the other side, like you're saying what Gina said, on the other side, Gutsy Academy doesn't exist. You don't change thousands of lives without all of that. Right. I would have zero empathy and understanding for what my students were going through. Like they would talk to me about their symptoms and I would understand it here, but I didn't understand it here, and now I understand it because I'm like, gosh, I've experienced all those symptoms. I've been where you are, and I promise you it gets better. It's interesting because you're talking about like the soul and the blueprint. It's like the soul contract that my body had with Tristan is like, I'm here to take care of you as you birth yourself out of this world. And then on the other side, we have another soul contract. And now it's a soul contract with myself, right? Like my soul contract was to hold space for him as he had to learn whatever it was that he did in his short 38 years of living.
And then that door was closed, and then my body and my soul and the blueprints in there were like, great, now you have another big lesson to learn. And the only way you can learn it is through illness. I believe illness is the biggest teacher, the masterful catalyst that people get gifted with to go through so they can come back to their true selves, who they are, like back into alignment. And you don't heal without taking into account the mindset, your heart, your soul, your body. It's all of it, right? Like true healing happens on those 4 planes, right? It's not just science, it's soul, it's mindset, it's heart. And so you have to work on all 4 of those levels and integrate them together and get them talking to each other again, right? What I've learned is people are so disconnected from their bodies, which is why they're totally fine spending thousands of dollars paying a doctor to tell them what to do. But if they actually knew that the wisdom was within them this entire time, that they actually know, like their body knows what they need and they just need to tap into that, they would save themselves years worth of healing, so much money, so much time, so many supplements, because they're doing the true healing work and they're walking the path that their body and their soul needs them to, you know? And so that's why I love my clinic, but I love the Gutsy Academy to teach people that mind, body, soul aspect, because you can't do true healing without it. It has to be a part of the process.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just going to keep staying stuck, right? And the body is going to just keep trying to call you back to yourself. But the self is all 4 of those areas, mind, body, soul, heart, all of them interconnected and in alignment again. And like, what a beautiful thing it is to be called back to yourself, and who you will be on the other side is a completely different person. Like Gina said, you will be so proud. You'll hardly recognize the person you are on the other side. But the person who got you ill is the person that needs to be sloughed off, because you need to become someone entirely different in order to call in healing. And so that's a great calling.
Like when you get the flu or something, like I even feel that there's a shedding at times of that, because not everyone always gets the flu.
Right.
And so sometimes maybe the flu comes on and the body's like, yeah, we'll let you have this purge.
Right.
Instead, we're not going to shed it right now. In fact, you need a little energetic shedding. Let's get sick. Let's take a minute. You're not taking any minutes. You will now.
Yeah. Yes.
So I don't know if you would say it this way, but to our listeners, if I think kindness is so beautiful and love, and I think firmness is so kind and loving too. And so if this discussion is triggering you in a place where you're like, they don't understand what I'm going through and all these different things, I've felt that, and I'm not trying to take your story away, but I invite you to dance with that trigger and like, and look at the pieces behind it. 'Cause like, it's okay to be like, I don't know you and I don't know your story, but that doesn't mean we can't relate. And it doesn't mean this can't be true.
Right.
As long as you want to hang on to your identity of being a sick person, you can keep it.
Right.
And it doesn't mean it will go away when you decide I'm not this anymore. But I do believe when we decide that isn't who I am. It is one of the biggest moments when I've seen a lot of people who've been just like on this train for years. And then it's like, oh my gosh, I've never felt this way before.
Right. I've never been so liberated.
And maybe part of it is there was more to experience until we got to that liberation. And that's why it hung on.
Right.
It's like, no, you're not there yet. There's something else here for you. And I know this sucks, but like, just get curious.
You know, you say dance with the trigger, but you know, sometimes to me, that feels almost too cheery. Like, let's dance and like try to just look for the thing under the thing under the thing.
That's what I meant.
You can, no, I know that's exactly what you mean. But people that are triggered are like, I don't want to dance with that. So don't dance with it. But like, look for the thing under the thing. You know, like there's a reason why you are uncomfortable with this. Like there's a reason why there is resistance, and resistance isn't bad. It's just there's a message in there. So can you find a way to uncover it? Like, I wanted to speak to the trigger because I've spoken to so many friends and patients who I see them in it. They'll talk to me about it. And so what I'm saying is like, if you felt that, then like, you're welcome. And I love you. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. You know, it's interesting because when people join the Gutsy Academy, which is the part where soul meets science, right? There's multiple steps to healing. The first is mindset. And so we spend a whole month on mindset, and we bring belief coach Britt Lefko on. She's amazing. She's so powerful. Like, it's wild. You know, we bring her in, and people for the first time meet themselves, and they're like, oh my God, I'm a chronic people pleaser. Oh my God. Like, these things the way I act out in the world is actually incredibly toxic. I think I'm helping people, but I'm actually hurting them and hurting myself. You know, like, I hemorrhage my life force for everyone, and then I wonder why I'm sick. You know, like, I think that unconditional love is having no boundaries. But what I'm realizing is that I'm calling in people that are incredibly toxic, and they leech off of me, you know? And so people are having these ahas that it's like, yeah, no wonder I'm sick. Like, no wonder I got to this place, you know, because illness doesn't just fall out of the sky randomly. Like, illness is deliberate. Like, there was a chemical process that got you there. It's not just like now you're sick. It's like the body had to be broken down and so out of alignment in order for illness to flourish in it. Now you get to learn how to take it out of that. And it starts from alignment with mindset and your heart and your soul. And from there, when you shift that, then like health can flourish and illness can be rebalanced back into wholeness. It's almost like I say the story a lot of, there's this entire planet Earth inside of here. Yeah. And there's a bunch of different ethnicities, job titles, roles, and everyone's got their thing. But when we get sick, everyone joins the fire department. What I'm also hearing is when we decide to not come to a place and just be with wherever we're at so we can get through it, the cells probably also start to like go at war with each other. And I'm thinking of the rebirth on the other side, where there's like all this cells in there that have like fighting. It's almost like the body was like, hey, we need to get back to what we are. And so cellularly, we're having a revolution. Right. A revolution because we know freedom and love is what we want. Right. And we're not doing this anymore. It's wild when you think about it like that, because then us and humans were here on this planet, and it's actually like extremely relatable and true, I would say. Yeah. You know, the body is almost like a mirror of what's happening internally, right? It's like, you know, I've never come across someone who has incredible self-care and great boundaries who's sick. You know, people that like take care of themselves and love themselves, they can, like, I think of like my now husband, Ryan, who you're really good friends with. Like, that man can eat terribly, but he is as healthy as a horse. And I swear he's like never going to die, because he literally just like oozes love and sunshine and happiness. And like, he just heals the world around him just by being who he is, you know? And so I imagine, because there's this book, hold on, let me rewind. There's this book called The Biology of Belief. It's written by Dr. Bruce Lipton, I think. And it talks about how every cell has like signals, or it has like proteins that can get signals literally just from your emotions. So you have an emotion and these proteins are signaled on your cell, and then the cell reacts to how it's being signaled. So if you are stressed or unhappy, then your cells the proteins are being signaled in a way that signals the cells to go into like a cellular danger response. And so from that cellular danger response, like the body doesn't heal and it doesn't repair itself, right? So then I imagine someone like Ryan, who's just like, is oozing like sunshine and rainbows all the time. What his cells must be signaled all the time. It's like happy, joy, no threats, like everything's so great. I love you. You know, like he's the epitome of like a Care Bear stare. You know, like, you know, the Care Bears are like, ah, I love you. Like I get Care Bear stared all day where he's just always like pouring love out. Like he's just this like love rainbow. And like, can you imagine the cell signaling that's happening to his cells? Like they're probably just like having the best time of their lives, you know? And so he's this really healthy, happy human. And yeah, he drinks so much. He used to drink so much soda. He doesn't anymore. I'm so grateful. But like, he probably could have had soda until he was like 120 and it wouldn't affect him because his body is just in a different vibration and it's in a different world. Whereas you have me on the other side who truly ate pristinely. I had the best diet and I got so sick, right? And it wasn't because of my food. It was because of my stress. And it was my body literally being like, you are so out of alignment. You have to come back.
Yeah.
Like something has to give. Like you need to change who you are and how you express yourself in this world because it's literally killing you, you know? And so what a great calling to answer. So I don't know how we're doing on time. I feel like we could talk for ages.
Yeah, we could, but you have a very deep story and it's fun to have it shared because I think a lot of our listeners will be touched. And I don't think it's always the facts. I think it's the depth that has impact.
Yeah.
Because facts, I don't know. Facts is, we got ChatGPT.
Right.
And they're not always right. But I mean, it's really easy to find facts and to research them and see if they're right. To hear the true story behind it and to feel why you do it that way and why we believe this and what got us to this belief, I think is really empowering for those who could be in it. Before we wrap it up though, you recently sold Provo Health.
Yeah.
And I'm sure treating so much ailment has the ability to like roll on to you. And I guess I'm interested to know, what is your next season? What are you thinking you want to do with everything you've built?
So I sold Provo Health because I'll tell you what I want to do, which is absolutely nothing. So, you know, building this clinic was so hard and so grueling. And, you know, the person that bought it from me, his name is Dr. Josh Red. He's a really well-known doctor. He owns 8 clinics now, 9 he owns, this is his 10th clinic now that he just purchased. He owns Red River Clinic, Palma Vida, and now he just bought Provo Health and it's going to turn into Palma Vida. But I told him when we were talking about the sale, I was like, you know, I built this clinic to heal myself because like first to heal Tristan, then myself because I got so sick. And I'm like, I think it's the thing that's keeping me sick at this point. Like I am ready to step out of the illness world. I'm an expert in it. I went from like complete helplessness to the other side of the pendulum swing of like, I know so much about it that I actually want to forget it. I don't want it to be at the forefront of my brain all the time. I don't want illness to be the neural pathways that are constantly lighting up in my brain. I actually want to come back down to just living and being, you know? And so what is next? Next is literally the human experience for me. It's just being. That's what's next. There's nothing to grow. There's nothing to build. Like it's all here. Like the human, like, I don't know how much time I have. Like with having a dead spouse and having death knock on our doors so closely, I am very well aware that we all have limited time on this earth. I don't know if I'm going to die this year, 10 years, 50 years from now. I hope I'm here for a very long time. But if I'm not, I want to make sure that I was fully present and I was a human being, not a human doing. You know, I know that's like so cliche and cheesy, but like I have children that I just want to be a mom for, and I just want to spend time with, and I want to couch rot on the couch with them and snuggle them and love them and pour my love into them. And those are the parts of my brain that I want to be relit up again. Like the human experience, like that's what's next for me.
Yeah.
It's not building and doing and educating. I'm like, I feel like I checked those boxes and it feels complete. And now I just want to experience joy and like adventure and like awe and wonder. You know, my late husband, he had an ayahuasca journey and it was traumatic for him. But the one thing he got out of it was the secret to life is the secret to life and manifestation is childlike wonder, you know? And I'm like, I want to live the rest of my life with childlike wonder. I want to be fully present. I want to expand how I love and not like practice the parts of my brain that is in marketing and growing and building businesses. It's actually just being a mom and being a human and being fully alive.
Yeah.
That's what's next.
That's really fun. So you build the clinic, then you get super sick after losing Tristan. Then you have to take time. And then through this whole experience, and then you build this thing to support thousands of people. And then here you are with this curious learning throughout the thing. And you're like, I just need time. And so like, what a beautiful at the end.
Yeah.
And also I do think that we can do a lot more than we believe we can. And you work hard. I've talked to you about all the running the business and you're like totally an entrepreneur. I think that we actually do seek the contrast and the polarity. And so like, if you hadn't had that opportunity and hadn't had that experience, like you may not say what you're saying now. So I think it's fun to realize that lots of things can be true in different times and two things are true at the same time. And so like, this is where you're at, someone else is where they're at. And like, we're all figuring it out. But ultimately it's like, find that voice, listen to ourselves. And no one knows what we should do more than you.
Yeah, exactly.
And so stop giving out that authority and bring it back in.
Yep.
And ultimately what I heard is that's the journey we're on.
Yep.
Is owning our authority and then inviting others without needing them to do anything. You don't need to wake up. Right. You don't need to be more. It's fun though.
Right. It is fun.
I'm just feel so blessed to hear your story again. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you for letting me come. We've been trying to do this for ages and I know I've just been so busy with the sale and children. And so thank you for being patient and having me.
I had so many great questions to ask you, but we just got to do all the fun because you already had it inside of you.
You know, that's just kind of how life is. You just, you know, you were saying about like just listening to within, like you all the wisdom's in you. And so whether your like listeners are in a phase of building or resting, like, you know, so just be true to yourself.
Yeah.
So,
thank you.
Thank you.
Well, welcome. Well, thanks for watching The Hatch Point. And until next time, see you then. Cool.
Thanks, Jared. I know I sometimes get a little like blah, blah, blah.
No, but we have some banger concepts that are like deep and fun. And I just wanted to have you on. I wanted to talk about your